How we doing, everybody? And happy Thursday to all. It is a Thursday in the great state of Wisconsin, or wherever you are listening to, Canada, Saudi Arabia. We have listeners all over the place. Today, we have a special guest joining us from Army West Point. Treyton Thomas is joining us. How are we doing, Treyton?
Trajan, I'm doing great. I'm having a great week. Yeah, just having a great. I had a great dinner. Got to eat dinner tonight. So I'm doing great.
Awesome, awesome. What do we have? What did we have?
Me and my team, we actually went out to go get hibachi, celebrating, making the weigh in this morning. So
Hibachi, huh?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I got
getting
a little bit of chicken, some shrimp. It's no Marshfield Royal Tokyo, but it gets the job done.
there isn't much that tops Memorial Tokyo for Marshfield. I tell you what, there's very few places. Maybe El
Yeah,
Mezcal. I don't
yeah.
know. Have you been to Casa Amigos, the new Mexican place in town?
I have not. I don't know.
You,
I don't know if I can go against El Mez.
I didn't think so
My
either. Don't,
fiance Hannah would be very mad, if I went
hey,
against El Mez.
don't tell the people at El Mez, but I have cheated on them with Casa
Uh-oh.
Amigos. Okay,
Okay.
I've
Okay.
bounced between both. I've kept my patronage at El Mez, but I've
Uh-huh.
bounced between both. They have
I'll have to try it.
They have half price margaritas. I
Oh
can't
yeah.
I
You
can't not.
can't turn that down.
I show up. I show up. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
Well, next time I'm in town, I'll have to try it.
yeah, they're saying, hey, you and me. Dinner's on me. Dinner's on me.
Okay. Okay.
So hey, could you introduce yourself? I know we know your name's Treyton Thomas, but
Yeah.
let me know a little bit about you.
I'm from Greenwood, Wisconsin. Played three sports. Played football, basketball, and baseball in high school. Um, During my junior year, I started applying to the academy, which is here at the United States Military Academy at West Point in New York. Um, and Basically, what this academy is you do 4 years of schooling to then commission as a second lieutenant in the United States Army. So all the prep that we do here at the academy is all to build up to eventually become a platoon leader in whatever branch or job in the Army that we'll end up having.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All
Yeah.
right. And so, we're talking a lot about the Army right now. People are like, why is Treyton Thomas on this sports podcast talking about the Army right now? We salute our troops
Yeah.
on Wisconsin Sports on the
Oh
Go.
yeah.
But Treyton is actually a part of the CSFL. And people really don't know a lot about the CSFL. I mean, me, I watch a lot of sports, and I couldn't have told you before Treyton went and played the sport that this was a thing. It is actually known as the Sprint League Football, is what it's called. Lots, we have a lot of talk about it. So Treyton, give me kind of the skinny. Give me the skinny to start. What is the CSFL?
Yeah, I mean, like you, I had no idea what it was before I came and visited West Point. Um, I actually accidentally went with a group to go look at or listen to the coach talk because I thought we were listening to the actual football team. And I looked around and all these guys were really small dudes that I was walking with. And I was like, well, this is unusual. I mean, we're talking about football and all these guys are my size. And just for the listeners, I'm 5'9", 180 pounds. Not your typical football player. And I showed up and they were telling me about sprint football. And I was like, what is this? And it's a football league where it's regular football, collegiate football. We're playing regular colleges, but the only difference is it has a weight limit. So we all have to weigh under 178 pounds twice a week before games. I mean, we're right in the middle of the season right now. We're playing Cornell tomorrow. And so 2 days before, we weigh in at 178 early in the mornings, and then we get to eat again. But basically, the league, we got 9 teams, or actually now eight teams in the CSFL. And there's a brand new league in the Midwest called the MSFL, Midwest Sprint Football League. We actually got the opportunity to scrimmage one of them earlier before the season started. But I mean, we play schools like UPenn in Philadelphia. We play Cornell in Ithaca. Obviously, Navy, who's our biggest rival, and then a few other small schools here in the East Coast.
Okay, so are there talks? I know you mentioned the MSFL is kind of a new thing. Are there talks about that becoming like two leagues within its own? You have like in college football, we have the SEC and the Big Ten and all the other ones. Is there talks about the CSFL kind of joining up with the MSFL to be one major sport, but two different conferences within it?
Yeah, so the MSFL, the Midwest League, was brand new last year. So it's still kind of new. The CSFL commissioner has been under talks, and hopefully we'll be able to have a joint championship in the future. And actually, my coach this morning actually went down to Long Island, and they're talking to a school about they want to join the league next year, and it sounds really positive because the main draw that these little schools in the Northeast have to having sprint football is hopefully to increase their male population at these schools. Like the school in Long Island that's joining, they have 75% females and 25% males, with 10 female teams and only 6 male teams. And they don't have a football team. So adding in a football team hopefully is going to increase their male enrollment, which we've seen with the other small schools in the Northeast.
Okay, and would you say, I know you're a tough son of a gun. I can't deny you're one tough son of a gun. But would you say like this kind of league, you're saying you have to be 178 and below. That's the only way
Mm-hmm.
you are eligible to be able to play. It's like a league that gives hope to the smaller guy
Oh
because
yeah.
at your body stature, even though I know you as a tough son of a gun, if I saw you out on the football field playing against a team like, say, the guys from Alabama, I'd be like, okay, buddy, you're going to get yourself hurt out here. But would you say this kind of league, it could expand a little bit to
Mhm.
being that kind of option, not just for, at Army or at Navy, but even at some of these smaller schools to allow more guys to get into football, not at the high levels as you would see like your major Power Five teams, but this would allow the smaller guy to get in there.
Oh yeah, and I think that's the huge draw of sprint football. I mean, I wouldn't have a chance playing football anywhere else if it weren't for sprint football. I mean, I forgot to mention, but I'm the left guard on my team. I'm the captain, and none of these opportunities would have been available to me if I had not been able to play in a league that has a weight limit. I mean, me on the O line. I mean, you remember in high school, I was tiny compared to the other people, and coach still put me there. He
I
knew
tell
I'd
you
play
what,
hard.
when I found out he was on the offensive line, I was like, oh baby. This guy is
Yeah,
built like a running back, and he is going to
yeah,
be the guy defending our quarterback right now.
yeah, and
We were in rough times. We were in rough
yeah, yeah.
times.
We
We didn't
were.
win a
I mean,
lot. We didn't win a lot.
no, we only had one game in 2 years, and coach knew he needed a change, and
We went for speed. We went for
yeah, we
speed.
went for speed. But I mean, that was the nice thing was to get some experience doing that because I was able to send my film to my coach. He ended up having me as a preferred walk on. I didn't get a recruitment slot, but I got to walk on, and having that experience at the O line before showing up here was super beneficial because a lot of our guys, obviously, we all weigh 180 pounds ish. None of us had really played the offensive line before coming
Yep.
here. So that was a big advantage. But it's just I don't know. It's a great opportunity for us, and I think that that's being hopefully it's being spread. It's going to become more popular. I mean, we're gonna just see where it goes. I mean, it's a really historic league. It started in the 1930s. We had a lot more schools back then, like Harvard and Princeton. Unfortunately, they've dropped off their programs, and that happened a while ago. But that's because in the last 20 years, it's really been Army and Navy dominating the league. But in the last 5 years since COVID, we've seen kind of a rise in those smaller schools with being able to attract more guys And like, I mean, they all have, their goal in mind is to beat the best of the best, and that's us in Navy.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at it, there's been some notable coaches who have come out of the CSFL. You look at George Allen, Pro Football Hall of Fame coach with the Redskins. We had Eric Tipton. He's a college football Hall of Famer, Major League Baseball outfielder actually for a couple
Mm-hmm.
years there. I mean, it's an like you said, a historic league. Actually, Dick Harder came from the CSFL. He was a college and NBA head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Coached at Penn from 1958 to 1964. So some
Yeah.
impressive, like you don't really think about it. I would have never thought,
No.
that's where they came from. But it is really cool to see kind of a league of its own. It's a league of its own,
Mm-hmm.
really. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
so are
Well,
there?
I don't mean to stop you, Trader,
No, you're
but I
good.
mean,
You're good.
there's a couple. I wanted to mention, like President Jimmy Carter played sprint football for Navy, even, and then also like our offense coordinator last year, his name's Tony Franklin. He actually coached and was offense coordinator for Jared Goff at Cal before he came to us. Um, and the only reason we had that connection is because he had coached my head coach in high school. But yeah, I mean, it draws in a bunch of really big names, and I think that's really cool for the league.
So we should have him on next, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't know if your audience could take him. I'm
I
being
don't.
honest.
That's fair.
He is an eccentric guy, to say the least.
That's what we love. We love that here.
Yeah.
So in this league, are there like are scholarships a big part of the USFL? Is that an option? I was reading up on it a little bit. I saw that there's possibilities. I don't know if you've gotten a scholarship through it, or if you know of anybody, or if you know if scholarships are being offered for USFL
Mhm.
players.
So at Army and Navy, we all get our tuition paid for. Just that's just the nature of the academy. Getting in, we get our free college, but then we have to serve time in the Army or Navy. With the other leagues, I don't think there's any scholarship opportunities except for at Cornell and Penn.
Okay.
I've heard that I think one of them used to have it, now they don't, but it's not a super popular thing because I mean a lot of us playing sprint football, we're playing just to continue playing football. I mean
Yep.
we got nothing else. I mean we don't have that many fans, we don't have that many viewers. I mean we're not playing for
We're
our own
working on
name.
it. We're working
Yeah,
on it right
exactly.
here. We're
Yeah,
trying to
we're
get
working on it
promoted
here.
more.
Yeah. I mean, but like we're just playing to play football. And I think
Yeah.
that's the beauty of watching it. I don't know if you've seen any of our games, but it's fast football. I mean,
Highlights, yeah.
it's
It's
real
almost like
stuff.
I would say it's almost like watching eight-man football that we're
Hmm.
seeing kind of spread out through the state of Wisconsin now.
Oh,
It's more fast-paced. You're not
mhm.
really it's not slow and steady as you would see in that natural 11 man. I mean, you have your speed games and stuff like that, but it's like yeah, like you said, it seems like it's a faster paced league, but that attributes to your offensive line is 178 pounds and smaller than
Yeah.
that. So
Hmm. Yeah.
that does help out in that aspect.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so give me some things that and this is getting more towards you. Give me some things to describe yourself, not just as an athlete, but as a person. You at Army, give me that kind of, let me know who Treyton Thomas is.
Well, I mean,
Toot your own horn if you have to.
I mean, I don't really want to, but I mean, I mean, like I'd say, like there's just a few things that I keep in mind all the time, um, and I mean, things were definitely built from high school, and I didn't even notice those things in the moment and how well they translate until I got here. But just, I mean, like you remember Coach Bredlow, Coach Lee Bredlow, he would always say, attitude and effort. Those are the two things you can control. And that's just something I live to up to this day. I mean, if those are the only two things I can control, the rest of the pieces are going to fall in place.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the biggest thing is just getting 1% better every single day. And like uh, everything's going to compound after that, and you just keep getting better every single day. I mean, like we always say, like, what are you doing today to help us beat Navy, and that's just kind of how we live here.
Okay. Okay. And run me through a normal day at West Point for you. Give me a normal day. Your average day, but a day that includes practice, something like that, you know.
Okay.
What does a normal day look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll run you through today. I mean, this is
Yeah, there
as
we go.
average as it gets. So me and my roommate, I mean, it starts the night before. I mean, we're cutting weight, get down to that 178. A lot of our players weigh, between 180 and 190. So we all can't really eat the night before. And then, go to sleep around 11:30, get up at 5. Then we have a lift. We go down to or weigh in. We weigh in. Then we get to our lift. We lift. After the lift, we run up here. We have formation. We have mandatory breakfast. We have a whole 4,000 of us here at the academy eat at once in like 15 minutes. It's kind of spectacular. I didn't even realize how crazy that is until I see people taking pictures and watching it happen. Because it's kind of, I don't know, it's crazy. And then after we eat breakfast in 15 minutes, we all go to class around 7:40. And then after that, we have 3 classes. They're each 75 minutes long. And then we have another formation. We all march to the mess hall. We eat lunch together, all 4,000 of us again, around noon. And after that, people have classes. I generally go to the trainer. I ice bath. And I also go in the hot tub, ice bath, hot tub. And then I come back to my room, watch film, spend a little bit of time just relaxing. If I'm lucky, I get a nap in, do some homework. And then around 3, I go down to practice. And then we practice from about 3 to 7 ish, and then at 7 we come back up, eat dinner, finish dinner around 8 ish, come back to my room, work on homework for about 2 hours, maybe watch a little bit of football, depending on what night it is, talk to my family, talk to my fiance, and then go to bed at 11:30 and then do it all over again. It's a long day, but it's all worth it.
Seems like a heck of a day right there.
Yeah.
So, what you talked about your workout. You had a workout there early in the morning. Run me through the training regimen that you have. What does a guy at West Point go through in his training there in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, we start off our strength coach. I mean, this is something I didn't even realize how much of a benefit we had in high school. I mean, your dad running us through workouts and exercises.
The great Chad Bogdanovich, backed up by Joe Tofari.
Yeah, I mean, like I know all of our classmates. They would just like be mad at us for saying this, but it's actually ridiculous how far advanced our little school was compared to where some of all my friends. No, I haven't met a single person here that went to a smaller school than we did.
Yep.
And our school was just like so advanced in that, where we had a strength coach that properly got us ready to perform.
Worked with guys like Kirk Cousins and Aaron Jones and gave us the workout.
Exactly.
It was something. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We warm up doing similar warm ups. We got a lot of mobility things. We're working on our hips, trying to loosen up our knees and our groin and stuff so we can like move well. We do like in season's different than out of season. Out of season, we're working a lot more on building our strength, increasing power, and just overall getting heavy weight. But right now in season, it's a lot of speed. Early in the week, we work on heavier weight, but like today, since it's 2 days before the game, we do a lot more speed things, a lot more mobility, but it's all kind of lighter weight, but just moving it fast. And that's our main goal, is just move the weight fast.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, it is crazy to see how much it correlates between the two. What we did as training back in the day correlates to
Mm-hmm.
even guys at West Point right now
Yeah.
who are doing training
Yeah.
programs. It's just crazy to see the correlation between the two. So, kind of to lighten the blow on you here, give me your sports idol. If you have
Mm.
a couple, you can give me a couple. But that one guy that you wanted to just, that's who I want to be.
I mean, ever since I was a kid, I love watching the Packers.
Oh, don't
And
say Aaron Rodgers. Come on.
oh
Come
no
on.
no no!
You're
I'm
going
not
to
saying
hurt
Aaron
some people.
Rodgers. No 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 no. It goes further back than that. I mean,
Brett Favre. Please tell me
no,
it's Brett Favre.
it's not Brett Favre, but it was Jordy Nelson. I mean,
Okay. Okay.
I always saw this guy on and off the field, always put in 100%, and I just remember it's just like I like the message he was sending, and it was quite inspirational, in like elementary school. They'd always have like the little cutout of the guys and it said got milk or whatever. And he's just someone I looked up to. And as time goes on, obviously that changes. And like I really don't know who it is now, I'll be honest. I mean, it's just like overall, I mean, I just look at people that work hard. I mean, it's going to be a little cheesy, but I mean,
Yeah.
David Goggins isn't really an athlete, but I mean, sometimes my roommate, our alarm in the morning is he's laughing. He can hear me, but it's just David Goggins going off and just pumping us up. And
Okay.
I don't need to do pre-workout. I just need to listen to him motivating us to go carry the boats.
So, so do you guys have any rituals that you guys do before games? Anything that gets you guys fired up for your games?
I mean, so like me personally, obviously I pray. I mean, it's the same thing I've been doing since high school. And I'm truly blessed to, be playing football still, now like 15 years in. I mean, that's just like really important to me. But for our team, I mean, we always have, like we carry out the American flag. And also we got, like this little sign that we slap, that says, I think it says doghouse on it. I'm not sure. I kind of just hit it.
You
anyway.
zone out when you.
Yeah, I'm just locked in. But I mean, like the thing that really locks me into the game, and it's kind of cheesy if any of my teammates hear this, but it's like whenever we salute during the national anthem, it just kind of it reminds me of what we're doing this all for, and who we represent when we're out there. And it truly is. I just kind of have some thoughts that I go through every single time the national anthem plays and we're saluting there. And that's what locks me in. I can't say that for all my teammates, but
yeah, no, and I get that. And, sometimes it does seem like it gets lost in the game of sports. It's just like you watch these guys sometimes and it seems like they're just going through the motion when the national anthem's being played. They're not seeing truly what it means. I know, like, Mom used to tell me back in the day in high school, if I swayed like everybody else did during the national anthem, she'd come down there and kick me in the ass. Like, that's what she told me. So, like, I gained that, understanding that that's a moment where you realize why you're there. And that's awesome. I completely, that is awesome. That is honestly awesome. I kind of am speechless when I heard that. I didn't know what to say back to that. I really did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is awesome. Okay.
Well, I hadn't really thought about it until you brought it up, and now I'm like, oh yeah,
that's what I'm here for. Digging deep and getting questions in. And that was awesome. A+ answer right there. I could not have asked for a better one right there. So, how has the game changed for you since high school? Like the difference between the leagues, the levels. How has it changed for you?
I mean, it's a lot faster in college. I mean, I as a freshman, I wouldn't have expected it to be this fast, I'll be honest. Like the guys, I mean, we're going against in high school were bigger than me, not as fast, and I was able to use my speed to outmaneuver them. But now, when everyone's 180 pounds, they're all fast. And it's just you have to have better technique, and you just got to be stronger than the guy across from you and just want it more. So it definitely becomes more of a mental game when you make it to college over just straight physicality. Your athleticism can only take you so far. But that extra push comes from all that training that you've done in the days and weeks prior.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. And so you talked about your junior year is kind of when you started to apply to West Point. What influenced you into making that choice? Was there any influence behind it? Anybody saying, "Hey, you should be looking at this," or was it what made you think? Because everybody goes
Mm-hmm.
through the moments where they're trying to find a college and all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
stuff. What made West Point jump out to you? Not to go to Navy. We don't like Navy. Right
Yeah.
now we hate
No, we hate
Navy.
Navy.
But
We hate Navy. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, in high school, I saw the kids in front of us, and everyone just like went to a normal state school. They do, whatever job in Milwaukee or Madison for a few years, and then they, come back to Greenwood. And I didn't really want that same experience. None of that just like jumped off the page to me, and nothing was really just like getting at me. And then I saw what the academies were, and I was like, okay, let me check into this. And I realized that this was the place for me. I mean, it takes a different type of person, and you just gotta be super dedicated and just devoted to, what your goals are. And like originally, even one of my main reasons I came here was for the free tuition. But as time has gone on, I realized it's much more than that. I have a large responsibility, and everything that, entails, becoming an officer in the United States Army. All that kind of drove me to really want this. Actually, in your first 2 years here at the academy, you don't officially sign, anything. Like, you can leave scot-free, and you don't owe anything. But after that 2 years, like if I were to leave now as a senior, I'd owe close to $500,000 to the United States government, because that's how much they say they've put into me. And
wowza.
yeah, so in those first 2 years, you have the option to leave. And you realize that this place is dedication and sacrifice. But you realize that this place is much more than yourself. You're not doing it for yourself anymore. You're doing it, to serve the nation and just hopefully make the Army a better place. And that's my ultimate goal.
Awesome. Okay. And I heard that we were talking a little bit, and I heard that you became a captain. Would you explain to me what that kind of means to you and how you achieved this major feat in your time?
It means everything to me. The guys on my team trusted me. So how it works is, at the end of the season prior, the team votes on who they want to be the offensive captain and the defensive captain. And both sides of the ball have roughly about 30 guys. And it just, they trust me, and they put the responsibility in my hands, to basically beat Navy and eventually win a championship. And the thing is, the last 2 years, we've lost the Navy 4 times in a row. I don't know if you looked at the league at all. Yeah, it was bad. And 2 of them weren't super close, and the other 2 were one-score games where we arguably should have won. But the team at the end of the season voted me and my friend Luke Gelati as the defensive captain. And it means everything to me that they trusted that, we could build the team off of what we'd been working for, to eventually beat Navy, which last week we ended up beating them here at home 10-3, and it was quite an electric game. And
I did see some highlights of that. Highlights. You got to check out Treyton Thomas's Instagram.
Yeah. But it was just awesome. I can't explain it. My freshman year, we had beat Navy, but it didn't feel the same not being out there and not really. I wasn't directly involved with impacting the team, and when you get to see the fruits of your labor and the hard work you put in finally pay off. It's super rewarding. But I mean, the job's not finished. We got a championship to win still.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that score was 10-3. I've watched a lot of not CSFL games, but NCAA games with Army and Navy when they play each other, and it's a lot more run-based offenses.
Yeah.
We're gonna run. That's what we're gonna do. And if it's 3rd and 20, we're gonna run again. Is that kind of what the same style that you guys try to play? Is we're gonna overpower you with our run game, or is it kind of mixed? Is it a little bit of both?
I mean, we're a completely different team. I mean, we operate just a little bit differently just because of the weight limit. We run a spread offense while the big team runs a triple option.
Yep.
And that alone just has us passing the ball a lot more. But when we play Navy, it's every single play is a battle, and every point needs to be earned with your blood, sweat, and tears. And that's just how it goes. I mean, we rarely have games that have over 3 scores for each team. Like, I mean, last year in the championship, it was, I think, 28-21, which we never see high scores like that. Normally it's a super defensive game where every yard matters.
Okay.
But yeah, we're just a little bit different from the big team. But I think every single Army-Navy rivalry has that same close, low-scoring game where it isn't determined until the last second who's going to win.
Yeah. Okay. And so we're talking a lot about Army Navy, and me sitting as an outsider, the people listening, unless if they've experienced it firsthand, they just see it as it's a huge rivalry, but we don't experience it the way that you guys do, the way that the guys at Navy do. So let's dig into it a little bit. Let's dig a little bit deeper. You know, what does that rivalry mean to you guys? You as a player, you attending the academy, what does that mean to you?
I mean, it's everything we work for. It's written all over the campus, all over the place. You just see the words "Beat Navy," and I mean that's all it's ever been. And every single day, that's what we're working towards. Because in the CSFL, it's really just us and Navy. Every other team, they don't really keep it close. Besides Caldwell and Mansfield, like they got some decent programs, but it's just not to the same caliber as us. I mean, we have the privilege of here at the academies, every single one of us has to play a sport, and we're dedicated 3 to 4 hours every single day to be working on that sport. So every single minute of that just builds up, and all we're thinking during that entire time is what is Navy doing right now to beat us, and that's what we need to be putting in, that +1 more than they're doing. And I mean, it's just like from the day you show up, from the day I showed up here, they had us yelling "Beat Navy," and they just have you thinking about them all the time and how we can be better than them.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think the other rivalries just kind of build on that, you know, with the big team, and also just every other sport, you know, just every single team is super competitive, and we build off of each other, and I think that's really special here.
Okay, awesome. And so, how do you feel you've improved as a football player at West Point since you were in high school to now? How have you improved over the years? Like, what do you think you've done better, improved at, gotten better at, worse at? You can tell me whatever you want.
Yeah, I mean, you know, from high school, I learned all the basic techniques from my uncle when I first got moved to the position. My uncle, Ben Dahlman, he showed me to have my thumbs up when I block, the proper steps, you know, loading your hands, and it just kind of built from there. Getting that game experience in the games, getting better at pulling every single play. And then once I came here to the academy, it's just repetition. But the big difference is just understanding the playbook. I mean, coming here, it's so much more. It just opens up a whole new scheme than we had in high school. And it's just so important to be watching film, studying the plays, and you don't even have to think anymore. You've done it that many times. And the technique, you just kind of build on that every single day. And I mean, largely due to my teammates. I mean, we help each other out. And I wouldn't be in the same place that I am today without the guys next to me that have been playing O-line longer than me. And then I can help out the guys that haven't been playing offensive line as long as I have.
Okay. And so could you give me a top moment that you've had at West Point, even if it's back in high school? You can give me a couple, just the top moments that you've had out on the football field.
I mean, it's going to sound cheesy, but, so my first top moment, and it had been for a while, was the first touchdown that got scored when I was a starter. I started my sophomore year at left guard, and when we played UPenn here at home, we scored on the first drive. And just watching the running back go in, he was also a sophomore. It was just super special in that moment. And my center was also a sophomore. It just really just meant so much, that all this work we had put in paid off, which all translated to last week playing Navy we were playing at the big stadium, Friday Night Lights. My whole family was here, and on the touchdown. I mean, so my coach just he trusted me, had me pull. I kicked out the end, and the running back just went right up the hole and scored like a 15, 20-yard run. And we had run that play several times before, and Navy just couldn't stop it. And it was just awesome to see that my coach could put that trust in me and my teammates, us on the O-line. We didn't have to pass the ball to beat Navy. And that just shows how much they trust us on the O-line, and it means a lot to me, my teammates.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. And so how do you hope to be remembered for your time at West Point? Not just as the football player. You can give me as a football player how you hope to be remembered, but just as a person at West Point, how do you hope teammates, the guys you're serving with along the way, how those guys will remember you for your time?
I mean, I hope they remember me as just a guy that really just trusted and loved them, and I mean, that's what it really is here, is a brotherhood. And every single one of us has each other's backs. And I just hope to be remembered as, a part of them, and just like a hard worker. And like I was saying earlier, attitude and effort. If I control those two things, hopefully everyone will have a positive memory of me and my teammates during that time.
Awesome. Okay. And so what advice would you give to somebody who wants to continue their playing career, if not at West Point? I mean, I'm listening to it, and this league doesn't sound too far off of what you would see at the Division I college football level. Mm-hmm. I mean, it all correlates the same. You guys are just playing in a faster paced league, smaller guys, but it all correlates the same. So what advice would you give to somebody? You can give me both. At West, for a guy who wants to go to West Point, who wants to even go to, I know you hate them, but Navy,
yeah.
To join the military or anything like that, or also just guys who want to continue their playing careers, what advice would you give to them going forward with their careers right now?
Yeah, so I'll start with the guys that want to join the service academies. And I love all the service academies. I mean, I applied to all of them. And I honestly would have went to any single one that accepted me. But Sprint was just a nice add-on for coming to West Point. But I mean, what I would suggest is, you just gotta work hard, and really just enjoy your time in high school. Because I've seen several guys here that are just kind of burnt out. They worked so hard in high school, and they just don't have the same oomph that they used to, when they were, in high school studying and stuff. But I mean, it just like really important things is, just staying, playing as many sports as you can, being in leadership roles for whatever clubs and athletics you do, but then also just getting good grades. And going on with, if someone's interested in continuing their athletic career, and you just, I mean, like for me, I love football. That was my favorite thing to do. But I knew that I had a disadvantage just being 5'9" and 180 pounds. So if you're in that same boat and you really want to continue, I really highly suggest, looking at those service academies or any of these small schools. And I mean, I don't know, I mean, there's some in the Midwest now. I mean, there's a school in Illinois, school in Kentucky. I think there's one in Ohio, and they're all over. And it's just a great opportunity to continue your athletic career, but then also venture out a little bit. I mean, for me, it was scary right away. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to college in New York. Everyone in my family went to UW Eau Claire. Like every single person, every aunt, uncle, my mom and dad, my grandpa, everyone went to UW Eau Claire. So it was different for me. I didn't know what to expect. But I think it's definitely important to go out there, see what other places, what the world kind of has to offer. Like I love Wisconsin. Nothing can ever beat it. I'll tell you that right now. I mean, New York is.
We got the best cheese. I mean,
We got the best cheese, best people.
yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
You got the best lakes. Got the best. I'll be honest. Wisconsin is the best, but I don't have to describe that to anyone because I don't want them coming to Wisconsin. I don't want a bunch of people flying over to Wisconsin and just and all those people from Chicago ruining our lakes.
The weirdest part is those guys. They come here for the cheese. I mean, I've heard of people getting cheese from Wisconsin shipped to them. Like, it's just the weirdest of things that people do just to get the cheese from Wisconsin.
Good. Help out those farmers.
But get away. I mean, it's mine. That's for me.
Yeah.
Maybe for Treyton out there in New York, but other than that,
my family ships it out to me. I'm not even kidding. I need Wisconsin cheese curds.
The rumors are true. Are true. It is being shipped. I'm gonna get a ban put on it. No cheese will be shipped out of the state anymore.
I mean, I get the maple syrup. Like I got some in my drawer right now. I get salsa homemade from home. My parents just brought peppers and apples from home because nothing can beat it. I'll be honest. There's nothing better than that for me.
You got maple syrup in your desk drawer?
I'm not even kidding. I'll pull it out right now. I'll show you it right here.
This guy has got a jar of. He's got two bottles of maple syrup. He just pulled out of his desk. I don't even want to know what you do with them. I don't even want to know what you do with them.
We have these breakfasts and these pancakes, and I just love my maple syrup.
He brings his own stuff. He's too good for the stuff that they give him. He's like, I brought my own. It's fine.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, nothing
you don't share with anybody though, right?
I share with a couple people. Yeah, I have to. They have to taste it. They got to try it.
Just a little bit, though. You don't want to give them too much. You can't waste the product.
No. They don't get as much as I do. But
there you go. That a boy.
Yeah. People are just baffled by it, though. They can't believe that, I've made butter. I've made cheese before. I've milked cows. I've made maple syrup. I've never seen anything no one here has the same experience as anyone else, and that's the beauty of this place. It's just
people get baffled by milking cows.
Yeah, by milk. Yeah, exactly. But I'm baffled by some of the other things people here have done. I mean, we got Rhodes Scholars, which means they're getting scholarships to go to Oxford, all the way around England, and everyone has these opportunities to go all over the world. I mean, it's really cool, and obviously, I'm going to do all this stuff, hopefully be in the Army for a little bit and, hopefully, settle down someday. That's the eventual goal. But right now, focus on playing football. So
Yeah, there we go. We got a season. We're hot in the middle of a season right now.
Yeah, we got 4 games left. So,
And I did see only the top 2 teams make it to that last week.
Yep.
There's a championship game
mm-hmm.
between the top 2 in each division, the North and South.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can schedule. I saw you can schedule an 8th week if you want to.
Yeah. Yep. So a couple teams, they schedule an 8th game if they want to, if they don't make it to the championship. I mean, things might change though if we join with the Midwest League. I mean, I could see like a cross league championship and then
or some kind of tournament.
Yeah, you know how we have we also have the what's it called when the East and the West Clover Belt
crossover.
The crossover. Yeah, there might be a crossover game.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm excited to see where the league is going.
I think that'll be interesting. Yeah, I agree. To kind of see what if you combine the 2 leagues just to see it grow. I think keeping it as just the CSFL, keeping it's small is nice, but at the same time, it doesn't spread the word out there. And if you spread to the Midwest, then you're going to get it all involved into one.
Yeah.
And get more people watching.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the tough part right now is just traveling. I mean, our teams don't have the same budget as the big football teams. Like, we can't be flying places, so we kind of rely on buses. But, I mean, it's my coach's goal. He talks about it all the time, is just to give us as much of a Division I athletic experience as possible. We've been truly blessed, getting all the, the gear and stuff and getting to, like, we're going to be in a hotel tomorrow night, getting ready for a game. And just like all that, just like, it gives you the best opportunity to have the peak performance. And that's like what's really special. And hopefully someday maybe we'll see a team come out of Wisconsin. That'd be really fun.
No, I think that would be awesome to see something else. You have like the XFL starting up, that kind of thing. People are slowly starting to get into it, but like I said, not many people really see the Sprint League out there. They don't really follow it because it's not a nationwide broadcasted thing.
Exactly.
Hopefully people listening to this will check it out, see what it all entails, maybe get involved in it a little bit. That's the hope here. I'm hoping for you.
Yeah, and most of our games are on YouTube. Those ones are all free. But then we also got a couple that go on ESPN Plus. So if you have that, go check it out. Playing Cornell tomorrow, so that'll be on there. So it's just kind of a cool experience to see, like, oh my gosh, like that's me playing on ESPN Plus. Yeah.
Heck yeah. You know what the worst part about ESPN Plus is? You sign up for it, you pay like $60 a year or whatever it is. I don't even own it. My sister does. But and you can't even watch like the national ESPN network on ESPN Plus. You pay all that money and you get like, watching small stuff like this, that's interesting. That's cool to see. But you don't get any of the big games with it. I mean, the most I could watch was the Toy Story version of that
the Jacksonville
Jaguars and the Falcons. Yep. Yeah, that was the best I got. I mean, I watched it. It was pretty cool to see. I mean, it was pretty. They actually did a pretty good job. They did a pretty good job of it. But I mean, that was like the highlight of ESPN Plus. But now I know I can watch the CSFL on ESPN Plus, and now everybody knows. Check it out. It's going to be technically this is being released Thursday, so it will be tonight. You'll have the games tonight.
Okay. Well, it's Friday. I've been talking
it's
as
on
if this
Friday.
was coming on Thursday. Yep, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m.
I just completely screwed that up. I am sorry.
No, it's fine.
But
I'm sorry. I was talking as if this was being.
Me too. I was talking like it was going out tomorrow. That's what I like to do. But now the cat's out of the bag. Everybody knows. So the game is Friday night. It'll be on the East Coast, so it's a 7 o'clock start out on the East Coast, correct? All right, so for everybody listening, ESPN Plus, it will be on there 7 Eastern. You'll have to check it out to see Treyton in action in the Sprint League. I'm gonna check it out.
Yep.
I got
number 60, by the way. Left
number
guard,
60. We're going to be looking for him. We're going to be looking for him out there on the field. You can't miss him. He's the guy who weighs 170-some pounds playing offensive line. Oh, wait, that's everybody.
I was about to say. Just look for the 5'9" guy that looks about 108 pounds.
Look for the little guy running around. That's Treyton. You can't miss him. So, to wrap it up here, it has been great talking. To wrap it up, is there anything else you would like to talk about? Even just promoting West Point to people, anything like that you want to talk about, or any shout outs you want to give. This is your time. You let everybody know.
I mean, I don't have much. I mean, I like to give a shout out to my team, and my coaches, especially my coach Wick. He's our offensive line coach. Definitely wouldn't be in the place I am today without him. But like I was talking about, with Coach Bredlow and Coach Schmitz, and Coach Danny Braffner, all those guys made such a difference in my life and your life, and I mean even Austin Humke, he's playing left tackle for lacrosse and Division III football, and it's just like all that support that I get from home. Seeing our hometown football team repost, some promotional thing about beating Navy. I mean, that just means so much to me. Inspires me every day. But I mean, also my family. I mean, they come out to every game they can. I mean, they've been out here twice this year alone, just to watch me play football. And they're coming out next week, and then they'll be coming out in 2 weeks after that in the championship. I mean, it just means so much for me, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am without all the people surrounding me. But yeah, and thanks for having me on. This has been such a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. So that is about all I have. It has been awesome talking to you, getting to know the CSFL, and kind of just, I hope, promoting it. I really do. I hope that we kind of did justice to the CSFL, and I hope that people will check it out. I really do. I mean, reading up on it, I heard about it, didn't think I would be, that intrigued into it, to be honest with you. But really reading into it, it is a league of the future. I really do think it is a league of the future. It's been around for a while, but I could see a league like this expanding, and I really hope that it does.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's interested, also, if you don't have ESPN Plus, I mean, just check out on YouTube. Our game against Navy's on there. Mainly watch the second half, but it's a good game overall.
First half was a struggle. Don't check it out.
Yeah.
Fast forward.
Go to the second half. Yep.
Well, it has been awesome talking to you, Treyton. Thanks for being on with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Trey. This is awesome.
All right, guys, this has been Wisconsin Sports on the Go with Trey. Thank you guys for listening. Deuces.